Hi, so this is my reflective video essay, and this is the part three. I'm going to present this now, so let's go through it. Um, the first slide is talks about the different concepts I've learned and how my understanding of communication has changed throughout the semester. So models of communication, linear, transactional, and interactive. Throughout the semester, my communication has improved by changing from the one-way process, which is in the linear model, to a dynamic exchange in the transactional model. I used to focus on delivering messages clearly, but now I recognize the importance of feedback and adapting to context using the transactional model. With this shift in understanding, I am now able to better connect with others in a more relevant and empathetic way. Always keeping in mind that people grew up with different models and it may be challenging to adapt to a new method of communication. Maslow's hierarchy of needs: psychological, safety, love, belonging; esteem, self actualization. Understanding Maslow's pyramid was important to recognize the different stages of life each individual is at. When looking at our clients' need, it will be important to apply this concept to allow myself to better assist and provide the right support to each individual, keeping in mind that the way they communicate their needs and urgencies will vary depending on what level of the pyramid they're at. Principles of intercommunication. Cannot not communicate is actually a concept I had to reflect upon to be able to understand and grasp it. Realizing that we are always communicating was an important thing for me. The fact that body posture, facial expression, what you wear, your tattoos all send a message was something I had never thought of before. I also reflected on how communication is irreversible and how important it is to think before speaking because words can't be taken back. For this next slide, we're going to explore a few more concepts. The four realms of indigenous perspectives. So the mental, the physical, spiritual, and emotional. I believe that one cannot be healthy without the others. Having all these four dimensions to ourselves align and be at perfect harmony is what, in my opinion, would make someone successful. Success for me is being able to have a serene and peaceful life within oneself. Ecological systems theory, the micro, meso, exo, macro, chrono, how individuals or clients are directly impacted by their surroundings and how the ecological systems they are part of is reflected on who they are. So this is one of my favorite theories in the program so far. It totally makes sense, and it's something that it was really easy for me to grasp. Just by looking at someone's surroundings, you can pretty much understand what happened in their lives or how their lives were impacted. Attribution error, reflecting on my own biases and preconceived ideas and thoughts I have towards different types of population. I have started this journey a long time ago to try and let go of my biases. In this class, I was able to put a name to it and examine it further. Constant self reflection is key to understanding where your biases lie. To be able to have an ideal practice as an SSW is essential to keep a safe space. Free of judgment to create trust and bond with your clients. Also, always remembering that we all come from different walks of life and how our past experiences shape who we are. Influences on perception. So, cognitive abilities, everyone processes things differently. This can be for a variety of reasons. This is why it is so critical to engage in person centeredness when, I'm sorry, excuse me, when communicating with service users, respecting each individual's unique ability to process things in their lives. Next, we are reflecting on how my communication have changed. So consider your perspective of communication at the beginning of the semester. Has it changed? Has it not changed? Oh, it has changed dramatically. This class has had a tremendous positive impact on my communication. I have gotten various feedbacks from the people closest to me, so it has really changed. Did certain materials either stand out or not stand out? Why? The material that I already referred to stood out more because they resonated with me and my needs. So the material that we just covered, all those concepts and theories, those were the ones that really stood out for me. How has the material altered or affirmed your perspective of your communication? It has affected me in a way that I am more mindful, and it has made me more self aware of the way I communicate. How cultural implications have affected my learning and understanding. So, Brazilians are famous for being warm and extremely friendly, which can contrast with a more individualistic Canadian communication style. This warmth can help me build relationships, but I might need to adjust to a more subtle tone in my interactions. The personal space, the exercise in the hall about proximity. I was extremely comfortable with getting as close as possible. Back home, we're very touchy feely, physical touch. It's the norm. Excuse me, like hugs or getting kisses, like kissing people on the cheeks when you meet somebody, are common in our social interactions. Here, people are more distanced and need their personal space, so I had to adapt a bit. Um, Moving on to my five communication goals. So, one of the goals, first goal, was becoming an active listener. So, I have improved my active listening skills tremendously. I have really, really, really worked hard on this. And I have been getting feedback, especially from people close to me, but especially from my wife, which today I asked her about things that improved in my communication. She mentioned two things that really stood out was becoming an active listener and stop interrupting. Uh, what contributed was my constant attempt to be mindful and aware of what and how I communicate at all times. Improving my nonverbal communication. So this is, I'm not really sure about this goal because I haven't had too much of a social life lately to be able to gauge it. I haven't been out enough with friends, uh, just in, like, in different social settings. So I really don't know. I haven't had the time for it, so I really don't know how I'm doing in that one. But it's obviously something that I'm gonna keep in mind and keep working on. Um, the next three communication goals are speaking softer and lowering my voice. As I said, um, not as I said, I have actually been able to do that. I think this promotes safer, like it promotes a calmer environment when people are talking to you, especially in a client in a scenario with a client. This would come out as like a place of calmness and just making someone feel safe and comfortable. So lowering my voice, speaking softer, yes, definitely, I have definitely been able to do that. um, this was a big one. So stop interrupting people has been one of my biggest challenges throughout the year. I've struggled with this for a long time, but I have finally put enough effort to accomplish this goal. So my wife has been my number one supporter and also my number one critic. So I get constant feedback on this from her. And my latest feedback was actually that I have improved this. So I'm really happy about that. And what contributed was, again, being mindful, just concentrating and thinking before I speak, and just giving people enough time to finish their sentences, waiting for a couple seconds and stuff like that. Getting my messages across concisely and effectively. So I think this will be my biggest challenge, and honestly a lifelong one. English not being my first language, I find sometimes I can't quite express exactly what I want. I tend to be extremely self conscious about the language, so this will be a continuous effort for me. I will always be mindful of the language, study more, read more, just to be able to get my message across concisely and effectively. Moving on. Did you accomplish some goals? What contributed to you accomplishing of these goals? So I already answered that. Why were you able to accomplish some and not others? I think that some were more urgent and relevant to my current life, to my current my current um, uh, what am I trying to say, to the way I communicate right now. So I think they were more relevant. What potential goals do you think would be applicable moving forward in this program and professionally? I think all of these goals are very applicable and are very important to move forward and keep working on them in my personal life and professionally, of course. How will you continue to accomplish communication goals? I will set new goals all the time. Make sure I'm always getting bettering myself. I'm always I will refer. I'll get feedbacks. Refer to my journal. I've been journaling about these things. I always write down situations that I think I could have done better. I could have said things better. And the last question I'm going to answer in the next slide. So, how does advocacy and anti oppressive practice affect your goals? So, advocacy and anti-oppressive practices focus on respect, equity, and empowerment. Integrating these principles into my interpersonal communication goals will be essential to maintaining integrity in my practice. I will practice my active listening skills by listening to fully understand clients' experiences and systemic barriers. AOP and advocacy requires deep and biased focus on clients' stories, especially those from marginalized communities. I will validate their emotions and struggles by maintaining a non-judgmental space. I will allow my clients to finish their thoughts and allow a pause before I respond. Interrupting individuals can further silence their voices, making them feel more oppressed, contrary to what AOP principles are of inclusion and respectfulness. Be mindful of each client's need and have a client-centered practice. Oh, sorry. I will have an AOP approach with my nonverbal communication by maintaining an open body posture, engaging by doing uh, affirmations, and keep eye contact at all times. By lowering my voice, speaking softer, I will show empathy and create a calming space, adjusting my tone to respect and create trusting environment. Advocacy in AOP requires clear, plain, accessible language to avoid miscommunication, to reduce power imbalances, and to create a collaborative environment. I also need to organize my thoughts to make sure my use of words and language is appropriate and non oppressive. Next is establishing goals to continue progress in interpersonal communication. So, learn trauma informed communication. So, the goal is to ensure communication reduces re traumatization and prioritize safety and empowerment. Why? Because many clients have experienced trauma and understanding their needs improves support. Action plan is complete trauma informed care courses and review strategies with supervisors. Improve conflict resolution skills. Goal: resolve conflicts calmly, fairly, and empathetically. Why? Because social service work often involves addressing tensions in families, communities, or systems. Action plan: learn conflict resolution techniques, practice scenarios with coworkers, and use de escalation and compromise strategies. Maintain emotional boundaries. This is a big one for me. I always think about this. Goal: balance empathy with professional boundaries to prevent burnout. Why? Because over identifying with clients can impact objectivity and effectiveness. We always go over this in Kevin's class. In the action plan, use reflective statements over emotional reactions and debrief challenging cases with coworkers and supervisors. Let me move this up. How communication will affect my future in social service practice. So these are the questions that you had, and I'm gonna answer them in the last slide. So my communication will significantly affect my future in social service work practice, in developing trust, empathy, and clarity in working with the population. taking into consideration physical environments, relationships, emotions, culture, and verbal and nonverbal cues. I will adapt my approach to fit the unique needs of clients. Some of the potential barriers could be cultural misunderstandings, language barrier, or a lack of control over emotional boundaries. In contrast, my focus on active listening, mindful nonverbal communication, and concise messaging will allow smoother interactions. This is a continuous reflection that helps me recognize biases, be more effective, and maintain my communication at an inclusive, respectful, client centered level. So, this is it. I hope I covered everything. I put a lot of thought into this, and I think this was my, I don't know, 25th take. So, anyways, thank you, Claudine. Thank you for your time.